All right, guys, this is day 2. So we're back at our f of x. So let's fill this out. Oop. Okay, so this is just filling out the chart, right? I'm finding these points, the beginning, end, and where it turns. Okay, so we have something new here. It says, so let's suppose y equals 4x. Okay, so this 4. What's it doing to the f of x? Well, it's multiplying by 4, right? And notice how it's on the outside. So that'll come into play in a sec. So if these are my f of x's, if I multiply them by 4, I get 4 as my new y, so these are going to be my y's, right? Y equals 4 times this f of x. I get -4, -4, -8. Okay, so let me graph these. There I go. I got my new graph. Okay, so what happened looking at this graph? Well, I stretched it, right? We talked about dilations before, but I stretched it this way, which makes sense because, remember, when we have things going on the outside, it makes changes going up or down, right? When we had a negative on the outside, it flipped up and down. When we were adding on the outside or subtracting on the outside, moved it up or down. So with dilations, you had x, y. Let's say we had a scale factor of 3. Become 3x, 3y, right? Not for this, okay? Since it's on the outside, my x's stay the same, but my y's get multiplied by 4. And this is the only kind of stretching and compressing we'll be doing here, where we'll be acting on the y. Okay, so whenever you have a number out in front, right, we're only stretching it this way. Yes, you can stretch it this way, but we're not going to be doing that. Okay, so how would you describe the transformation? I can say I stretch by 4. Okay, did it affect the domain or the range? Well, anything that's working on my up and down is going to be affecting my range. And I can look at my graph. If I can get it. There we go. Right? So, use a different color. My far left and my far right for the pre-image and the image are the same. But if I look at how high and how low it goes, well, my pre-image had those two extremes for the range, and my image has those two extremes. So it's going to be affecting our range. Any up and down stretching, moving, flipping, right? It's going to affect the range. Okay? So, y equals 1/2 f of x. Well, guess what? Anytime I have this number, anytime I have a number in front of the f of x, right, our x's are going to change the same, but I can just slap that number in front of the y to make a new rule. So, if I'm looking at the graph, right, all these points are going to be half the height they normally are. Okay, so if it's -1, it becomes -1/2. If it's -2, it becomes -1. Right? I'm doing the same thing here. Right now, I can make that chart down here actually. So for my x's, I had -1, 1, 2, and 4. For my f of x, I had 1, -1, -1, -2. And if I multiply all these by 1/2, I get my new y's, which is 1/2, -1/2, -1/2, and -1. Okay? So how would I describe the transformation? So if that value out in front and how it's going to show up moving forward, we're going to call that an a value. So for this one, my a is 1/2. Well, if A is bigger than 1, we'll stretch. We'll call it a stretch. If A is between 1 and 0, so 1/2, 1/16, I will compress. So how do I describe this? Compression of 1/2. And did it affect the domain or the range? Well, since we're talking up and down movement, it's going to be the range again. Okay? All right. Let's go here. Okay. So we got two things going on here. Okay. We have a negative out in front. We have a 3 out in front. Okay. So that negative, as we've gone over, right, that's going to be a flipping going up and down since it's on the outside. I have a 3, so I should stretch by 3. Okay? So my x's change the same since both of these are on the outside. I'm flipping so that y becomes negative, and since it's stretching by 3, it becomes negative 3y. So what I can do is flip these over the x-axis, and that's step 1. I just did the flipping part. Now I can stretch it by 3. So if this goes down 1, well, now it's going to go down 1, 2, 3. This goes up 1, it'll go 1, 2, 3. And this goes up 2. Well, 2 times 3 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I have my new graph. So this is important. When you describe the transformation, we're going to have a reflection over the x-axis, and we're going to be stretching by 3, okay? We're not ever going to stretch by a negative number, right? Think of the negative, so we had negative 3f of x, right? When I described the reflection over the x-axis, think of that as spending that negative, and now I'm just left with the 3, and I can say I stretch by 3 to get them both down. Do not say a stretch of negative 3. Do not say that, okay? All right, so we flipped it up and down. We stretched it up and down. Guess what? Once again, I'm affecting my range. Okay? So, at this checkpoint, okay, it says, for this example, each point is reflected over the x-axis and is 5 times as far from the x-axis. What I want you all to do, right, we have a 3 out in front. I know I'm going to be stretching, and since 3 is bigger than 1, we're going to be stretching, right? We're not going to compress. So I'll just say stretch by 3. Okay? I have a negative out in front. So I know I'm going to reflect over the x-axis, and after I spend that, right, I have the 2 left. Excuse me. I'll be stretching by 2. Okay, for this one, 1/2 is less than 1 greater than 0. So I will be compress. I have a compression of 1/2. Okay. All right. So this one says stretch without using or sketch each graph without using a table. So I can look at these special points we had last time. Okay. And since I'm only stretching up and down, let me figure out what the y values are for these and stretch it from there. Right. So the x is going to stay the same. For this one, we're going to multiply the y value by 3. So I go up 1, 2, 3 to get here. Well, what's 3 times 3? It's going to bring us up to 9. Down 1, 2, 3 here. What's negative 3 times 3? It'll bring us down to negative 9. Remember, since I'm dilating from this axis, if it's on there, what's 3 times 0? It's still 0, so it stays there. And this one's going to stretch beyond our graph, so I'm just going to put it down there. And I have my new graph. Okay. All right. Let's do the next one. So for B, my x stays the same. I have a negative 2 out in front. That's going to change my y. So first, I'm going to have to flip it. So we move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to hit the axis. I'll move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again. Okay, this stays the same because it's on the axis. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That goes 3 up, and that goes 3 down. So it looks something like this. Okay, now that I've stretched it, or now that I've flipped it, I can stretch it by 2. So let me look at my y values. This goes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, if I multiply that by 2, I'm at 10. This is 0. 0 times 2 is 0. This is 3. 1, 2, 3 more gives me 6. And this is negative 3. 1, 2, 3 more gives me negative 6. So it's going to look something like that. Okay. All right. Last one. Y equals 1/2 of x. Or 1/2 of h of x. So since it's on the outside, it's only affecting my y. And this goes down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, what's 1/2 of 5? 1, 2, 2.5. What's 1/2 of 0? It's still 0. 1/2 of negative 3 is negative 1/2, or 1 and 1/2. So that goes here, and 1/2 of 3 is 1 and 1/2. So that's my new graph. All right, that's the first page. On the second page, okay, so this is our d of x. Okay, we're going to call that our parent function. The parent function is kind of like where we start out. So let me fill out this chart first. So when x is negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, my y value, or my h of x, is negative 1. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, got that chart filled out. Okay, so it says, let's do this right here. Well, there's a lot of pieces here. Okay, so let's break it down. This plus 5, it's on the outside. We're going to move up 5. This plus 3 is on the inside. Remember, when it's on the inside, it's backwards. So we're going left 3. We have a 2 out in front. So I'm going to stretch by 2. Okay? And that's all listed right there for you as well. Okay? So what is happening here? Okay, so we are going to stretch before we do anything else. Always stretch first, okay? So that negative 5, negative 1, if I'm stretching by 2, right, becomes x 2y. So negative 1 becomes negative 2. Okay. We are going to then do our shifting. So stretch first, then shift. Okay. We're going to move it left 3 after we stretch it, and then we're going to move it up 3 or up 5 after we do that. Okay. So let's look at this point. First thing I do, let's stretch it. So it starts here with a y value of negative 1. That becomes a y value of negative 2, right? I just multiplied it by 2. Then I'm moving it left 3. So 1, 2, 3, we end up there. And then go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our final is going to be right there. And I can do that with all of these. So this point right here, I go 1, 2, 3. I got to double that up. 1, 2, 3. That's my stretching by 2. Then we go left 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's that point right there. I'm going to do that with all of these. -1, double it up. I'm at -2. Left 3, up 5. Let me use my red. All right, since this is a y value of 0, stretching it by 2 doesn't do anything. Right, 0 times 2 is still 0. So I'll move left 1, 2, 3, and up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so it's a curve down here, so there's still a curve here. All right, don't do one of these things. Okay, you got to keep the curve. All right, so I can apply this process to all of my points, right? But I need to stretch first. Stretch first, right? Stretch and flip first before you move it left, right, up, or down. Okay. All right. Let's look at this first example. Okay. I have -d of x minus 4. So I know, since this is on the outside, we're going to flip it up and down. And this -4 is on the outside, so we're going down. There you go. We're going down 4. So I'll flip these first. Okay, I just flipped it. Now I need to go down 4. So I'll take these red points and go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I just flipped it. I just moved it. And since we just did up and down movements, my x stays the same. I change the y to negative, and then I move down 4, so I'll subtract 4 from that. Okay. All right. Next one. So since the 3 is on the outside, right, we're stretching by 3. And since the negative's on the inside, we're going to flip left and right over that y-axis. Okay? So I'll take these points and I'll flip it first. When we're talking about flipping and stretching, you can do either order first. It's just you got to do those before you move it left, right, up, down. So here, 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 and here. Okay. So I just flipped it left and right over that y-axis. Now I need to stretch it by 3. So it stays there because that's 0. And I'll triple up the y values. So -1, 2, 3 becomes -9. And -1 becomes -3. And I'm left with a graph that looks like that. Okay? So we flipped our x's, right? And we stretched it vertically by 3. Okay? All right, so you guys are going to do these two, and then you guys have a homework sheet, okay? I'll have that homework sheet key posted so you can check your answers. And make sure you guys are doing this because it's going to set you up for the rest of the unit, okay? All right.